This magnetic keyboard has everything: a screen, a knob, tri-mode connectivity, a very silent sound, and all of that for a budget-friendly price. Let's go and check it out. Sorry if I sound a little sick, but yeah, nice simple secured packaging. All of the accessories that you will be needing will come with the keyboard. We'll mainly be focusing on the TK75 V2 here, but they also sent us the V1, I'm pretty sure, so that maybe we can compare more the upgrades on the new V2 here. But your first impressions on the keyboard, not that much different actually from the TK75 V2 I've reviewed already before. But not too long ago, they actually updated the V2 here. It's still the V2, but now it has a tri-mode connectivity. Like, I already thought there's a lot of things going on with this keyboard. There's already a screen, a knob, budget 75%, some RGB stuffs. Now they also added wireless, to be specific, tri-mode connectivity. So this keyboard pretty much has everything. And some other upgrades they did: this keyboard is now compatible with 0.005mm sensitivity or accuracy that we're gonna check out in its software later and test out with my latency testing tool. I'm pretty sure they also changed the plates. This used to be aluminum, now it's PC, which apparently absorbs sound better. Oh, and we got the Phoenix silent magnetic switches now that we weren't able to test out on the other unit because we got the Mercuries. But I also think they improved the sound dampening, the layers of this keyboard. As you can see, the bounce is crazy on this. Not sure if you can see it on the camera, but yeah, let's quickly go through some stuffs here. The look of the keyboard, again, pretty much the same, no new variations. You can get the white or black, still made out of plastic, but doesn't really feel cheap in my opinion. And since they also sent us the V1, here's a little comparison on the looks, the screen, the RGB. But okay, now for those interested on the weight, it comes in around 793 grams. For the keycaps, I don't really see any difference compared to the old TK75 V2 we've reviewed. It is shine true PBT cherry profile. Comparing it to the V1 though, it is not shine true, so we'll be able to see the RGB more on the V2 here. Then for the switches, these are the Phoenix silent switches, but you can also get them with the Mercury switches if you want that. It is pretty stable, the Phoenix silence here, minimal wiggle wobble. The box stem also helps for sure. It does have a closed bottom and it is very silent. Like, take a listen. That is very silent. Can definitely be personal preference if you prefer that. And since this keyboard is compatible with switches like the TTC KOMs or Gateron Magnetic Jade Pros, it looks like we can also use these switches, these very silent switches, on other keyboards. Yes, it is compatible. So if you want to turn your magnetic keyboard into a more silent one, you can get these switches or just get this keyboard TK75 V2. But yeah, here's a little sound test with the switches and the keycaps on. That sounds so silent and quiet. This is probably the most silent or quiet magnetic keyboard I've ever tried stock out of the box. So for those looking for a silent magnetic keyboard, here you go. And we also compared it to the V1, and from what I can notice, the V1 is a bit more louder but still pretty silent and quiet. One of the reasons is definitely the more bouncier feel and mounting style over here. The V1 was very stiff, and another reason is definitely the plate. This again has plastic while the other one has aluminum, which doesn't absorb as much sound as plastic or PC apparently. But yeah, very nice efforts in making this keyboard sound good. I do see a good amount of lube in there. We have some foam here as well as over here. Very nice. I have no complaints with the acoustics and the quality of this keyboard. Now moving on to its performance, which we will be testing out here, both wired and wirelessly on the 2.4 GHz. Bluetooth doesn't really perform well. So to change modes, we just switch this. So I'm gonna go wirelessly. There we go. The screen is lighting up here. You can browse its different functions with the knob here, as you can see. And we also have the GIF that I've already customized actually, so yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. But yeah, we can also check it out more in its web-based software. But before we go there, I want to turn off all my lights to show you the RGB of this keyboard with majority of my lights turned off. It's pretty alright. You can see it through the shine through keycaps. Well, this bar over here is not very bright, not gonna lie. Well, you can see it with the lights turned off, but not as much as with the lights turned on, as you can see. And the screen is also very bright and vibrant. It looks much clearer. Let me turn down the ISO a little bit here so you can see it more. Yeah, because it is pretty bright. Then for the battery life of this keyboard, it comes in 4000 milliampere hours for those interested. Anyways, I have the website where you can buy this keyboard from. It will be first link in the description. Just scroll up, go to download here, software, find the TK75HE V2, which is over here. Click that, then download that. I've already downloaded mine, but if you don't want to download anything, you can also just go to QMK.top and then open IoT driver. If you haven't installed the IoT driver yet, you might have to install it. There might be a pop-up on that website. But yeah, as you can see over here, we can customize the keys, very nice and customizable. For the magnetic switch settings, this is where we change the actuation point. I've already set mine. If you want more details on my reasons why I set these specific settings, I made a separate video about that. But yeah, you can go down to as low as 0.005 millimeters now for the rapid trigger. You can do these stuffs, and dead zone. You can go ahead and explore this, but from what I've noticed, setting a very low bottom dead zone is not gonna be good for you, especially with how, I'm not sure if it's because of the bounciness of the keyboard or is it because of the switches with that more cushioned feel when typing. It's very easy to accidentally let go of the keys if you have very low rapid trigger and bottom dead zone. So I do recommend setting some. Again, you can explore with this what works best for you. Again, the lower the better, of course. But yeah, you can also change the switch settings here. Not really important as long as you know the max distance of your switches. We can also do simulation tests and then advanced keys. We can set DKS, mod tab, toggle key, and snap key. All of the features you will be needing pretty much. I already have A and D on my snap key or snap tap here. We can also do other settings, change the polling rate, these sleep times and stuff. And then yeah, we can change the FN layers here, macro editing, record, display settings for the screen. You can upload your own GIF here, do these stuffs. You can even draw if you want and then upload it to my works. But what I did was go to community share and then go to animation share. Then you can download one from here. But yeah, you can also download light effects, config share, or macro shares. But yeah, going back to the light settings, we can change the RGB here. And if you don't like any, we can also customize it here. Very nice and customizable RGB. And then we can also go light edit for more customization on the color, side light for this guy over here. Again, it's not the brightest even though it's already on max brightness here. But yeah, you can get very customizable with it. And then my work you can upload here. But okay, now moving on to local configuration. So if you have some here, already went through community share. And then for the profile, you can log and register for more. You can do these stuffs. Anyways, for those interested on the keyboard inspector results, here you go. This should be 8000 Hz polling rate and 10,000 Hz scanning rate. So let's see. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. 8000 Hz polling rate. I have no problems with that. Now let's go and test this out wirelessly. Here's the results. Yeah, that's also pretty accurate. 8000 Hz polling rate. Now let's go and test this out with my latency testing tool, OSL TTCS. I already made a more detailed video how this works, so if you're interested on that, but what it pretty much does is it measures the time between when the keycap comes into contact and when the computer actually receives the signal. So let's test this out wired first. And here's the results. 0.82 milliseconds. That's very responsive. I doubt you'll notice any difference when comparing this to the top magnetic keyboards on my list. Impressive results on wired, but now let's go and test this out wirelessly. And here's the results wirelessly. 1.172 milliseconds. Also very responsive. While looking at the numbers, it's faster wired, but I doubt you'll notice any difference. Impressive results both wired and wireless. Again, I also doubt you'll notice any difference when comparing this to the other magnetic keyboards on this list that doesn't have at least 5 millisecond difference, and majority of the keyboards here doesn't even have a millisecond difference. So yeah, I doubt you'll notice any difference, but yeah, for those interested on the milliseconds, here you go. And I always give a little disclaimer that these results can still vary. There can be factors that alter the results, but these results should still be very accurate. Anyways, without further ado, let's go and test this keyboard out more in game.
Flank daw. Heaven mo daw.
One tower.
Watch your eyes! My ultimate's ready.
One flank guys ha, one flank.
Lebron!
Talaga.
Wala na. Nice.
Oh, you ain't coming back.
Nice. One more mid. Pinupush ka. Nice.
Bahala ka dyan pre.
Low yung Reyna.
Ano dito?
No, you don't.
Dami sa short.
Dead.
In.
Rush lang kayo.
Rain is down. Watch your eyes.
Close.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
So after playing and testing with the Gamakay TK75HE, the updated version over here, here's my experience so far. Now you saw the gameplay, the latency tests definitely won't hold you back when gaming. It was very responsive. As soon as you press the keys, they do actuate. As soon as you let go, they do deactivate. All of its features worked. I didn't really encounter any issues. Now, okay, maybe on that dead zone part, it might just be bugging. Or I don't know what's bugging. Or maybe I'm just not noticing it because the dead zone can only go up to 1mm. But I think I'll notice it. Definitely 1mm versus no dead zone. But yeah, whenever I add bottom dead zones, I do not feel them for some reason. That's why I had to increase the rapid trigger instead. Because yeah, from my experience, having no bottom dead zone, to be specific, on this keyboard is not the best experience. Because again, with how bouncy the keyboard is, and I think the silent switches also have a part to play, but it is very easy to lift up the keys like very slightly and deactivate it. And yeah, I kept doing that accidentally. So yeah, you might want to add some dead zone or increase that rapid trigger release distance. But yeah, not really a big deal for me, even though I decreased the sensitivity of the rapid trigger. I didn't really notice any difference compared to the most sensitive settings and not so sensitive settings, because again, you gotta understand how little the millimeters is, the difference on that. So yeah, still felt very responsive, amazing gaming experience with this keyboard. Now I mainly used it wired, but you can also use it wirelessly. Again, we tested the performance earlier and it's also very impressive. But yeah, other than gaming, I also had an amazing experience using it for my daily use. Typing with it felt pretty nice and unique, and it's also very silent. So if you prefer that, if you want a silent keyboard, then this is gonna be an amazing one for you. But yeah, I think it's a very unique experience since there isn't a lot of silent magnetic keyboards at the moment, at least. But yeah, I also had no double clickings on the spacebar even though I was on my gaming settings. I also really appreciate the layout. It looked so good on my setup. There's also a screen that can be useful. Again, we kind of saw earlier, I think I showed it, you can set the time here as well. You can display the time, so if you want that. Now, would I recommend it though, and is it worth it? Well, how much is it? Now, at the moment of filming this video, with my discount code MIGSS, you can get it for as low as around $84. Doesn't matter the color, doesn't matter the switches, $84. That is under $100, and that is, I think, a pretty budget-friendly price, especially for everything you're getting here. Again, wireless, knob, screen, amazing performance as well. It is definitely a good price. And I don't know if that price is gonna get even lower because Black Friday is coming up the moment I'm filming this video, or maybe that's already with the Black Friday sale. I don't know, but yeah, you can go ahead and check out the price of the keyboard for you in the links in the description. Maybe there's an event. But yeah, for around that price, I think it is worth it. I would recommend it. That is amazing, especially for everything that you're getting here again. Now, we also kind of went through the V1 here, and they are selling it still. With my discount code MIGSS, you can get it for around $75, so around a $10 difference. I mean, it's not really a big difference, I think, so why not just go for the V2, the more updated version. But if there's something on the V1 that you really like and prefer, then you go for it. Anyways, if you're interested on these keyboards, I'll be putting them first link in the description. Again, please use my discount code MIGSS. That works for the whole Gamakay store. It would give you some discount and it would support me a lot as well. So I would really appreciate it if you can use that. And those links in the description are also going to be my affiliate links, so it would also support me a lot if you use any of those links when buying anything from the description. And a little disclaimer, these keyboards are sent to me, but that won't change my review. Everything that you've been hearing me say about these keyboards are all my honest opinions and review. Anyways, I pray and hope that this video helped you in some way. I'll get to see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to stay grateful and remember, Jesus loves you. Bye bye.